shopping mall spans both sides of the road. The bridge ahead links two sides of the mall to 4 hotels. These are some of the first developments on Marina. В землях района Марина Бэй. Singapore Flyer is ahead on our right. Standing at 165 meters, it offers a panoramic view of the city. A ride on the Flyer takes 30 minutes. Straight ahead is the Formula One Singapore Grand Prix pit building. This pit building has 36 garages for 12 racing teams. Formula One returned to Singapore in 2008 after an absence of 36 years. It was then that the first night race for F1 was held here. We are turning into the Singapore Flyer stop. Just a reminder, each guest is entitled to a pair of complimentary earphones. Please keep it with you throughout your stay here. Replacement earphones are chargeable at $2 each. To keep the bus clean for everyone's comfort, please do not consume outside food and drink on the bus. Chilled drinking water is available on board at $2 a bottle.
пересекаем живописный мост Бэйфрант. Справа от нас находится спиральный пешеходный мост Хеликс, выполненный в форме цепи ДНК. На заднем плане виден живописный фон нашей набережной. В белом здании, расположенном за мостом в форме цветка лотоса, обосновался Сингапурский музей науки и искусства. Здесь же расположен прославленный интегрированный курорт Marina Bay Sands, или кратко МБС. Посмотрите наверх, там мы видим великолепный скайпарк. Смотровая площадка расположена на консольной платформе и выдается над северной башней на 67 метров. Слева от МБС видны два белых купола оранжерей, а также гигантские супердеревья парка «Сады у залива». На их постройку ушла колоссальная сумма денег в размере $635 миллионов. Это самый большой в мире парк, расположенный в центре города. Следующая остановка – Marina Bay Sands. Гости, желающие посетить сады у залива, могут высадиться на этой остановке.
Developments are on both sides of the road. The hotel, offering 2,500 rooms, is on our left, while the casino, luxury shopping mall, and convention facilities are on the other side of the road. Opened in 2010 and built at $5.7 billion, MBS was one of the most expensive integrated resorts in the world. It is said that it was designed to resemble the Chinese character Shan, or mountain. In feng shui, mountain means backing, which ensures the house always wins. Far ahead is the Tanjong Pagar container terminal. Those giraffe-looking cranes are used to load and offload the container ships. Singapore is the world's busiest transshipment and bunkering hub. As the number of ships serving the Indian and Pacific Oceans increases, there is greater need to consolidate the port's position in the region. The port handles 90,000 20-foot containers per day, and mostly for transshipment. So how big are these megaships? Each can be 400 meters long, carrying 19,000 containers. If laid end to end, the containers would stretch 115 kilometers, 3 times the width of Singapore. If you want, you can load 900 million tins of beans onto one megaship. The development around us, including MBS and Gardens by the Bay, is built on reclaimed land. Land reclamation has increased Singapore's landmass by a whopping 25%. That's equivalent to 8,000 football fields. All the sand needed for land reclamation is imported. Now you can appreciate the price of real estate in Singapore.
is a nature park spanning 101 hectares and was developed in line with the nation's plan to create a city and a garden. Its design is an amazing showpiece where horticulture meets garden artistry, which attracts both local and international visitors. The park consists of 3 waterfront gardens, Bay South, Bay East, and Bay Central Garden. Bay South Garden opened to public in 2012 and houses 2 cool conservatories, the Flower Dome and the Cloud Forest, connected by the iconic super trees. The Flower Dome was listed in 2015 Guinness Book of World Records as the largest greenhouse in the world, standing at 1.2 hectares. Within Flower Dome, floral displays are regularly changed to showcase the beauty and diversity of the plant kingdom. The Cloud Forest is higher but smaller and features a 42-meter, or 138 feet, Cloud Mountain where there is a 35-meter waterfall. Both glass houses are constructed with large glass roof without additional interior support, thereby minimizes environmental footprint. Rainwater collected from the surface is circulated in the cooling system, which is connected to the super trees, which are used to vent hot air and cool circulated water. Next stop, Gardens by the Bay. Welcome on board. Hope you all have enjoyed the sights at Gardens by the Bay so far. This is just the Bay South Garden. The entire Gardens by the Bay comprises of 2 other gardens, the Bay East and Bay Central Gardens. The Bay East Garden is a green space that offers a transport respite from the bustling city and an unblocked view of the city skyline. This space is open to public, and in 2018, the Bay East Garden was designated as the future site of the Founders Memorial. The Bay Central Garden is a 3 kilometers waterfront promenade that links Bay South to Bay East. Standing at 15 hectares, it provides a scenic walk for visitors from the city centre to the east of Singapore. Far to the left is the Marina Bay Cruise Centre, one of 2 cruise terminals in Singapore. It was completed on 2012 and received its first ship, Royal Caribbean International's Voyager of the Seas, in that same year. Together with Singapore Cruise Centre, located at harbourfront, both terminals are expected to boost cruise tourism in Singapore and anchor Singapore's position as the premier home port in the region.
this is the new Marina Bay Financial District. Slated to be twice the size of the old financial district, it hopes to cement Singapore's position as a leading financial center. There is now a better mix of commercial, residential, hotel, and entertainment outlets. This ensures the new financial district remains vibrant 24/7. The buildings around Marina Bay are prime real estate. A 150 square meter apartment can set you back by US $4 to $5 million, and rental for a similar sized office space will cost you US $9,000 per month. The building with a clock tower across the junction is Lau Pa Sat, meaning Old Market in the Teochew dialect. Opened in 1825, it was the first market in Singapore. The delicate Victorian-styled cast iron structure was imported from Glasgow. Now a food center, Lau Pa Sat by night is the place for satay, a dish of skewered grilled meat served with peanut sauce. Front is linked to Clifford Pier on our right. Built in 1933, a red oil lamp used to hang from this pier to guide seafarers, earning it the name Hong Dang Ma Tou, the Red Lamp Pier. Beautifully conserved, it is now the Fullerton Bay Hotel. Coming up, the Fullerton Hotel stop. Built in 1928, it was the General Post Office. This hotel is another pre-war building immaculately restored. This is also the stop for the Merlion Park. Of a fish and the head of a lion. The fish symbolizes Singapore's origins as a fishing village, while the lion is a tribute to the country's original Sanskrit name, Singapura, meaning Lion City. Legend has it that 700 years ago, a Sumatran prince, Sang Nila Utama, gave the island this name after spotting a lion when he first set foot here. Hotel in Raffles City. At 73 stories high, this hotel is home to the annual Vertical Marathon, where every year more than 2,000 partake in what is dubbed Asia's most grueling stair race. The record time, sub 7 minutes. The church on our left is the St. Andrew Cathedral. George Coleman built the original church in 1836. Damages caused by 2 lightning strikes resulted in a demolition 20 years later. The structure you see today was the third to be erected here. Now you know lightning can actually strike the same place twice. Saucer-like dome of the new Supreme Court. Designed by Sir Norman Foster, the building's glass structure represents the transparency in the legal system. Coming up is the new Parliament House. Opened in 1999, its architectural design attempts to reflect the stateliness of the Parliament. Look left, catch the skyline of the central business district set against the foreground of the Singapore River. The building in front with 927 multicolored windows was the largest pre-war government building in Singapore. Built in 1934, this neoclassical building was modern for its time with electric lifts. The Singapore River on our left has been the center of trade for this nation since 1819. Today the river is cleaned up and converted into a reservoir. The many cargo boats of bygone years have made way for a few tourist river cruises today. Coming up, Clarke Quay Stop. This is also the stop for Fort Canning Park on our right. was Singapore's largest underground military complex during World War II. It was in this bunker on February 15, 1942, that Lieutenant General Percival decided to surrender to the Japanese. Called the Battle Box, the warren of 28 rooms and tunnels now houses a captivating exhibition on the fall of Singapore. Today, Fort Canning Park is a venue for Shakespeare in the Park and Ballet Under the Stars. Coming up, Robertson Keep. Once full of warehouses, it is now an upmarket riverside residential area. Notice how some of the warehouses have been restored and cleverly integrated into new development along the river. In an effort to alleviate heavy traffic, the Transport Authority implemented the Electronic Road Pricing System, or ERP for short. Look out for the prominent blue ERP gantry coming up on our left. Singapore was the first in the world to implement an electronic road pricing system to manage traffic congestion. Every time a vehicle passes through, toll charges are deducted from a cash card in the vehicle. The ERP toll varies with time and location. This company racks up US $20,000 per month on ERP charges. public housing apartments commonly called HDB flats. These are older developments built 40 years ago. Public housing is built and subsidized by the government. 80% of Singaporeans live in public housing, and most Singaporeans own such apartments on a 99-year lease. The price of a 3-bedroom HDB flat ranges from US $250,000 to $350,000, depending on size and location. The newer public housing is comparable in quality and design to private apartments. To apply for an HDB flat, singles must be 35 years or older. There is no age limit if one jointly applies with a parent, sibling, or spouse. So when the local shy boy says to his girlfriend, "Let's apply for an HDB flat," he actually means, "Let's get married." Coming up, Miramar Hotel Stop. hotels in the vicinity and many more at Orchard Road and Marina Bay. Singapore handles more than 15 million visitors yearly, generating in excess of US $16 billion in tourism receipt. Tourism is an important driver for Singapore's economy. Here is a touring tip. Tipping is generally not necessary in restaurants and hotels, where 10% service charge is incorporated into the bill. However, tipping is welcomed by service staff such as concierges and bellboys. A typical tip ranges from Singapore dollars 5 to 10. We do not levy 10% service charge. Gratuities are customary. Feel free to tip any of our deserving crew for good service rendered. Places in the world offer a more diverse food selection than Singapore. The spicy chili crab has enticed many foodies all over the world and is perhaps the one dish that is synonymous with Singapore. Coming up, Zion Road Food Center. Singaporeans love eating out. You'll never go hungry with the many eateries operating 24 hours across the island. Coming up on our left is another popular food center. You may hop off here to sample some local fare. Popular stalls here include fried kway teow, prawn noodles, and chicken rice. To know which stalls are good, just look out for the longer queues. You may have noticed that the traffic here in Singapore is relatively smooth. This is the result of 3 effective measures put in place to keep traffic congestion at bay. 1. High vehicle import tax in excess of 100% to keep it expensive and deter car ownership. 2. The number of new cars allowed on the road is controlled. To purchase a new car, one needs to bid for a permit called the Certificate of Entitlement, or COE for short. Every fortnight, the Land Transport Authority will release a number of COEs equivalent to cars delisted during the same period. Left to market forces, the bidding can make you poorer by US $50,000 even before stepping into a car showroom. That's not all. The permit is only valid for 10 years. Look around you, there are not many old cars on the road. Bet you didn't know, Singapore is the world's second largest exporter of used cars after Japan. The third measure is enforced through the electronic road pricing scheme. The more you drive and the more congested the stretch, the more you pay. The cost of owning a car in Singapore may be 2 to 3 times higher than other major cities. To lure drivers away from their wheels, the government continues to invest heavily in our public transportation system. Coming up, Wheelock Police. Orchard, and the closer we get, the more expensive the properties. This is District 9, home to upmarket residential estates. The condominiums around us can easily cost at least US $6 million. Further up, you will see bungalows on huge estates with swimming pools and long driveways. Some of the old bungalows may not look impressive, but the land it sits on is worth millions. Circular building to our right after the junction is the Camden Medical Center. Known for cosmetic surgery, this private hospital is popular with affluent clientele from the region. Cosmetic surgery is a valuable segment in Singapore's medical tourism industry. The building after Camden is the Tourism Court, Singapore's very own tourism board. The approaching junction marks the start of Orchard Road, the popular shopping belt in Singapore. up on our right is the Interpol Global Complex for Innovation. On our left is the British Council and the British High Commission. Next to it is the fortress of the U.S. Embassy, followed by the Australian High Commission. On the right is the Gleneagles Medical Centre, another popular private hospital. Singapore is an established medical hub in this region, hosting more than 500,000 foreign patients annually. Medical tourism is an important segment for such private hospitals, as foreign patients account for over 60% of patient care here. Botanic Gardens, a UNESCO-designated World Heritage Site. Opened in 1859, the garden hosts a herbarium of more than 600,000 botanical specimens and has a library archive dating back to the 16th century. Other than Rio de Janeiro, Singapore is the only other city with a tropical rainforest within its city limits. Two of the garden's directors achieved great breakthrough during their individual tenure. In 1878, Henry Nicholas Ridley spearheaded rubber cultivation here. Malaysia adopted his planting methods and is now one of the top producers of natural rubber. The other director, Professor Eric Holtom, pioneered the successful hybridization of orchids in 1925. His techniques catapulted Singapore into the ranks of the world's top commercial orchid centers. Singapore today exports over $10 million worth of orchids annually. Coming up, Botanic Garden Stop. It is one of 3 botanical gardens in the world to be honored as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Entrance to the Botanic Gardens is free. Admission to the National Orchid Garden is ticketed. Welcome on board the Yellow Line. We will turn into Orchard Road at the end of this scenic drive. Please note that there are 3 key stops along Orchard Road. They are Orchard Hotel, Marriott Hotel, and the Singapore Visitor Center. Orchard Road derived its name from the numerous orchards and plantations that lined this street in the 1840s. Commercial development began only in the 20th century. Hotel. This is the beginning of Orchard Shopping Belt. Stretching over 6 kilometers, you can find an incredible concentration of shopping malls, entertainment outlets, and luxury hotels, sitting densely on both sides of the road. Orchard is not only a tourist belt, it is also the place to shop and dine for locals. Beside the greenery walkway above ground, Orchard has an extensive underground infrastructure connecting malls and MRT stations. On our right is the Forum, a shopping mall dedicated to the young ones. Coming up on our left is the Royal Thai Embassy. Thailand's King Rama bought the land in 1890. He is the same king central to Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I. This is the last unexploited prime site on Orchard Road. The swanky building on our right after the junction is the Ion. This iconic shopping-cum-residential complex is the largest shopping mall in Orchard. Coming up, Marriott Hotel stop. The pagoda-like building on the left is the Marriott Hotel. Built by homegrown retail founder C.K. Tang in 1970, the Tang's flagship store is still located here. Orchard. On our left is Lucky Plaza. Domestic helpers gather here every Sunday, the mandatory off day of their week. The many remittance centers here make it convenient to send money home. Domestic helpers are common in Singapore, and there are more than 220 individuals working here. Predominantly women from Asian countries, they live with their employers and perform various household duties on top of child and elderly minding. As more young families are dual-income households, the demand for domestic helpers is on the rise. Singapore Visitor Center, or SVC. This center is operated by the Singapore Tourism Board.
Big Bus Tours Singapore
Also has a service office in the building behind the bus stop. Please approach our ground crew or visit the SVC should you need any assistance. Stop Orchard Plaza. Next to the SVC on our left is Emerald Hill. Walk up Emerald Hill Road today and you'll see exquisite houses beautifully restored. They belong to the era of the 1920s Chinese Baroque architectural styles. This was the enclave of rich Peranakans then. Coming up on our left, it is still fondly remembered as the island's first air-conditioned cinema. The original 5-story building was Southeast Asia's tallest skyscraper in 1939. Notice how they cleverly conserved and incorporated its old facade into the modern-day design? Coming up is Rendezvous Hotel Stop, another fine classical building across the junction. Right is the Singapore Management University, the first government-funded private tertiary institution. Behind it is the National Museum. Coming up is the Singapore Art Museum stop. The Singapore Art Museum on our left was the former St. Joseph's Institution. This museum specializes in Singapore and Southeast Asian art. The Cathedral of the Good Shepherd to our right is the oldest Roman Catholic church in Singapore, dating back to 1867. Stop, Raffles City. Across the junction to our right is the former convent of the Holy Infant Jesus. This magnificent Gothic-style chapel was a Catholic convent for 130 years. It has since been restored and is now a popular food and beverage lifestyle haven known as Chimes. right is the Civilian War Memorial, built in memory of civilians massacred by the Japanese during World War II. Affectionately called the Four Giant Chopsticks, it represents the four major ethnic groups in Singapore: the Chinese, Indian, Malay, and the minority group. At 67 meters high, the 4 pillars are joined at the base, signifying unity amongst all ethnicities. A memorial service is held here every year on February 15, marking the day the Allied forces surrendered to the Imperial Japanese Army in 1942. Heart of Suntec City. Chinese geomancy had a great influence over the architectural design here. Suntec City is modeled after our left hand. Notice the 5 finger-like towers surrounding us? The shortest tower on our left represents the thumb. Positioned in the center of the palm is the world's largest fountain. Uniquely, the water flows inward. According to Chinese geomancy, this signifies wealth flowing into one's palm. Back to the Big Bus and Duck Touring Hub at Suntec. Please look after your ticket. Lose it, you lose your ride. Remember to check with our crew at Suntec for your boarding pass privileges. Thank you for choosing
Big Bus Tours Singapore.
If there's anything that we can do to make your stay here even more pleasant, please let us know. Gratuities are customary. Feel free to tip any of our deserving crew for good service rendered. And finally, before you alight, remember to take all your belongings. Don't leave anything behind. See you soon!